First and foremost, I want to say that this video is analyzing the math from a video posted by the Working Money channel. I'm not normally a negative person. I am far from a fudder. I love XRP and I think it has the potential to reach this price point, but it won't based on the math posted by this specific video. Math is a great tool that can be used to prove points, but when it is misused, it can be very deceptive. So I'm here to explain why this video made me want to cry. XRP could reach $1,000 plus, completely independent of Bitcoin's price, but it won't based on the logic shown by Working Money channel.
There are only 50 times more XRP than BTC in existence. Check the difference in drops versus Satoshis. Only 20 times if you ignore the 59 billion in escrow. So, if BTC can hit $50,000 per coin, why can't XRP hit 1,000? Sounds legit, right?
Yes, there are only about 50 times more drops than Satoshis, but that doesn't mean there are only 50 times more XRP than Bitcoin. Here is the logic used to show that XRP should be a 50th of Bitcoin's price. But here's the thing, and I truly cannot believe people are buying into this. Emotion is making people's minds cloudy and not seeing logic. The number that each coin is divisible by does not matter. It is an arbitrary number implemented by the creator.
So let's take a look at some of the math here, guys. First, we are going to look at XRP. And guys, as we all know, the full supply of XRP is 100 billion XRP. So if we divide 100 billion XRP by 0.000001, what we get is, ready for it, 100 quadrillion drops, okay? So that is 100 quadrillion is the smallest unit of measure in which we can divide an XRP, one XRP token. So for BTC, we understand that there are only 21 million Bitcoin in existence. And if you divide 21 million Bitcoin divisible by 0.00000001, I think I said that right, that is the equivalent of 2.1 quadrillion Satoshi. So we're going to put that number here, 2.1, and that is quadrillion Satoshi. So yes, we still have more XRP in existence than Bitcoin. But it's not actually as much as you think, guys. When you divide 100 quadrillion by 2.1 quadrillion, you get a factor of roughly 47.6 times. So there are only 47.6 times more XRP than Bitcoin, which...
No, God!
Let's make this simple. There are two apple sellers. One apple seller has one apple, and the other apple seller has two apples. The second apple seller has twice as many apples as the first seller. Let's say the apple sellers decided they wanted to cut their apples up. Apple seller 1 cuts his into 4 pieces, and apple seller 2 cuts each of his apples into 2 pieces. Now they each have the same amount of pieces, but does that mean they have the same amount of apples? Changing the ways they are cut does not change anything. Let's assign prices to each seller's apples. Apple seller 1 sells his apple for $100. Apple seller 2 sells his for 50 cents each. This means that apple seller 1 sells his for 200 times higher than apple seller 2's apples. Now let's use the same pieces we used before, using the prices we also used before. Apple seller 1 sells each of his pieces for $25 a piece. Apple seller 2 sells each of his for 25 cents a piece. Apple seller 1 will still receive $100 per apple he sells. Apple seller 2 will receive 50 cents per apple he sells. This is still a factor of 200. The price of a coin is independent of the number of times it can be split and its max supply.
Okay, the ebb and flow of markets are never equal, but theoretically that is an attainable price for XRP. If all things are the same, all things considered, right, money flowing in to both coins equally, we could get to that price. Just based on mathematics, just based on what each coin is divisible by.
Based on mathematics alone. Bitcoin, if we say it's worth 10,000, it is divisible 100 million ways. Its Satoshi value is 0.0001. XRP, we can say its value is 50 cents. It is divisible by a million. So its drop value is 0.0000005. This is a factor of 200. We'll use that number later. In theory, if the value of Bitcoin were to reach 50,000, its Satoshi value would be 0.0005. Now we need to find XRP's value. Now if the Satoshi value is 0.0005, and we divide that by 200, the factor we found earlier, we would get a drop value of 0.000025. Now with that drop value, since we know that XRP is divisible by a million, we would receive an XRP value of 250. Now notice that this is still a factor of 200. Now let's look at the theories presented in his video. If we say the current Bitcoin is worth 10,000, if it were to reach 50,000, that would be an increase of 400%. If we say XRP's value is 50 cents right now, and his theory value of 1,000, that would be an increase of 199,900%. This video is meant to challenge the math in Working Money Channel's video, not to argue the intrinsic value of XRP. XRP could reach this value, but not based solely on Bitcoin going to 50K. I may have refrained from making this video if not for the condescension he displays here.